Hey everybody, it's Saturday morning. I wanted to reach out with a little bit of preliminary feedback on the Public Stories of South. First, I want to apologize for the hiccup yesterday with Moodle that a number of you pointed out in terms of the size of your file. So I appreciate you, one, pointing that out to me, and two, kind of persevering and switching your videos to YouTube links. So thank you for that. I also want to thank a number of you for submitting your stories early. What that does for me is it lets me spread out the grading so I can provide more feedback to each of you. But it's also kind of identified something for me that I want to point out to the rest of the class. So again, if you've already turned in your video, you don't have to redo it. Nobody's lost any points on what I'm going to say. In fact, the feedback that I'm going to give right now is feedback that I usually give later on this semester. But because we had the opportunity for the rough draft, I feel like that a lot of you are further along, and this one simple thing will be helpful. And that is this. You've all worked really hard to provide great content, defining your challenge, using vivid language, describing the emotions, what values are there, and connecting with your audience. And I think every talk that I've looked at so far has done that. But there's two things that allow you to connect with your audience. One is what you say. The second is how you say it. And this isn't a communications class. We're not going to polish your presentations like we would in other courses that I teach. But the comfort in your content will enable you to have and pay more attention to how you deliver your content, which will make you more relatable and give you a better opportunity to connect to your audience. And so one of the suggestions that I would give if we were doing this in public is that before you record your talk, give it and read it just like you would 3 times. And when you do that, each time that you read it, you become more comfortable with the content. You begin to anticipate what you're going to say. And the less you're concentrating on the content, the more you're concentrating on your delivery. So just a couple of pieces. Number one, if you're uncomfortable with the amount of time, you're going to speak really fast, which is nice. It gets you in under 2 minutes and 15 seconds, but it doesn't really give your audience an opportunity to process what it is that you're going to say, what is you're saying, right? Look, if your talk comes in at 2:21, that's fine. There is some leeway that I'm building in there. If it's going to make your talk better, that's fine. I just don't want 3-minute and 20-second talks. So don't let 5 or 8 seconds compromise. I'm getting a lot of talks at 2 minutes and 14 seconds, so I do appreciate that. The second piece is that if you give your talk like you're reading it, and it is very level in terms of your emotion and intonation, the emotion that you're trying to convey does not come through in the way that you're giving your talk because it becomes a little bit monotone. But if you become more comfortable with the content, now your voice and your expression conveys the emotion that is in your content. And I think in most cases, that will come naturally without really trying if you're more comfortable with what you're saying and you do it a number of times. The other thing is, if you're talking with somebody or you're meeting with somebody, one of the things that will provide contact and connection is eye contact. And so if you're very frenetic and moving around in your screen, as the viewer, I'm having a hard time paying attention and watching you, and that is providing distance between us. Now, there might be a reason for that. You might not be comfortable with what you're saying, and almost like telling a joke or making light of something, that movement is a mechanism. But look right into the camera and connect with your audience as best as you can. Again, these are things that will probably come naturally to you as you just give your content and present it a few times. But I wanted to give you that heads up. We'll go over this a little bit more on Monday. And until then, good luck with your talks and have a great rest of your weekend.